Hi, Rich here from Richcraft Performance. Today, we are going to pull the engine out of this truck. Now this truck comes with a bit of a story. This is a 99 Suburban that we picked up for not a lot of money. Came with a story about that it had a 383 stroker in it. So we don't believe a lot of those things when people tell us those, so we went up and looked. And there was enough evidence that at least the engine's been out and it's been worked on. And it's been hopped up. The truck's got headers on it, it's got full dual exhaust. Somebody loved this truck at one point. There's not a lot of miles on it. You look inside the valve covers, everything looks like it was made yesterday. So today we're gonna pull it out. I'm not gonna show you that on camera. One, we have weather looming, so we don't know how much longer we're gonna be able to stay out here before the rain opens up on us. And there isn't gonna be nothing technical about the way this comes out. This is gonna come out. We do not care about the vehicle. When we're done with the truck, it is either being sold for parts or it's going straight to the scrap heap. So there's going to be nothing polite about the way this engine comes out of this truck today. So this is just a little, as soon as we get it out, this is just a little indication of what's coming up. So as soon as we get it out, we're going to get it up on an engine stand. We're going to tear this motor down, see what we bought, and we're going to kind of show you how to identify what you have when you buy an unknown engine that somebody tells you is high performance. All right, so I'm going to get my cameraman today to kind of zoom in on the engine, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So when we went up and looked at this thing, the first thing I saw was somebody put a really nice set of headers on it. And if we can get right down here, you can tell that the decks have been machined. They're quite nice finish. They don't come from the factory that bright. Okay, there's a whole bunch of, this is just one example, but there's a whole bunch of non-factory bolt hardware in this thing. Okay, so after we got it home, we heard the guy's story, we paid attention to what he said. We phoned the engine company that was supposed to have built the engine. We gave them the serial number of the truck and the previous owner's name, and they said yes, it was built with some sort of scat, stroke, or crank in it. So we're pretty excited, so we can't wait to get this out. All right, anyways, we'll talk to you soon. And we're back. We got wet yesterday pulling this motor out of that truck. You can probably tell from the clip that we were dripping wet, but we had already had the tools out, and we had started, and we had waited long enough to pull that engine. We had owned it 2 or 3 weeks, and we were dying to find out what was inside. To the point where we were gonna film us tearing down the engine and discovering things as we went, but we were like 2 kids on Christmas, and we couldn't wait to find out what we had bought. So when I bought this truck, we knew it was a 99 Suburban. The guy told us it had a 383 stroker small block in it. We went up there skeptical. And here's a few of the things I looked for when we got there. We got there and we looked for things that made it look like the engine had been out. So if we look here, we got brass frost plugs. No GM ever came out of the factory other than Marine with brass frost plugs. There's a casting number on the back of the block, and in a lot of vehicles that is hard to see. They did us the added favor of putting the last 3 digits of that number on the side of the block, and you're reading it upside down right now, but that's okay. It's a 638 block. They stopped making the 638 in 1995. So how did it find its way into 99? That told me that this engine had been out and something had been done to it. So we took our chances, paid 400 bucks for the whole truck. Had to tow her home. We get it home, like I explained earlier in the video, got a hold of the machine shop that had supposedly done it, and they said that they didn't have a lot of specs on the engine, but they did have it written down as it had a scat stroker assembly. So we pulled it apart, and this is what we found. So, we are the happiest kids on Christmas ever. If you look at the front, you can see it's still got the Scat 3750. It's got a set of Scat forged rods, Keith Black Claimer series pistons, it looks like, which are just fine for our kind of application. This thing was in a towing application, so it had a stock camshaft, stock four-tack heads on it, so nothing to write home about, but all good stuff. We're gonna cam it up. We got a set of Dart Iron Eagle platinum cylinder heads to put on it. With the combination we're running, it should be right around the 475 horse, 475 foot-pounds of torque kind of rating. It's gonna be great in this little tiny 5-speed Chevy S10 that my son owns and drives around daily during the summers. So this is what we found, and I've never been more excited. We are super stoked. This is the $400 383. And if we can pan the camera around a little bit, just give you a little sneak peek. That right there, folks, is the $150 Chevelle. But more on that one later. If you like this kind of video, want to see more, press like and subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.